Well, greetings, Pastor Eric here from Zion Lutheran Church in beautiful Redmond. Good to be with you today on day 22. And our joy verse is from Psalm 94, verse 19. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. Your consolation, your being with me, your listening, your attentiveness to my concern, your consolation brought me joy. Now, joy, reflection, person, place, or thing, don't neglect to do that. Our joy practice today is practice joy today by doing more listening than talking. Sometimes listening and consolation brings great joy to those who simply need someone to listen to them. It's long been my conviction that we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a very good reason. We should listen to people twice as much as we talk. In fact, in the book of Job, Job was going through all kinds of suffering, and calamity came upon him and his house, and everything was a great big mess. His 3 friends came to be with him, and they sat with him on the ground for 3 days and didn't say anything. They just were there in his presence, kind of being there for Job. It was only when they started talking and trying to figure out why all this stuff happened that the book spirals down into all kinds of unhelpful explanations of why this was happening to Job. When they just sat there on the ground with him, that's when they were of use to him. We should do more listening than we do talking, especially for people going through difficult times, because it's my conviction that many times people just need someone to listen to them, to give space to have them talk. That is so very important. Don't you know someone who was a good listener, and you just appreciate their attentiveness, their consolation to your concern? By doing that for someone else, it brings them joy, and to you it brings a deeper sense of joy. Now, A.A. Milne is the author of the whole Winnie the Pooh series. I have a book on my shelf, The House at Pooh Corner, which I just love. And here is a little story from Winnie the Pooh. It occurred to Pooh and Piglet that they hadn't heard from Eeyore for several days. So they put on their hats and coats and trotted across the 100-acre woods to Eeyore's house. Inside the house was Eeyore. "Hello, Eeyore," said Pooh. "Hello, Pooh. Hello, Piglet," said Eeyore in a glum-sounding voice. "We thought we'd just check on you," said Piglet, "because we hadn't heard from you, and so we wanted to know if you were okay." Eeyore was silent for a moment. "Am I okay?" he said, eventually. "Well, I don't know, to be honest. Are any of us really okay? That's what I ask myself. All I can tell you, Pooh and Piglet, is that right now I feel really rather sad and alone and not much fun to be around with at all. Which is why it occurred to me I haven't bothered you," Eeyore continued, "because you wouldn't want to waste your time with someone who's sad and alone and not much fun to be around now, would you?" Pooh and Piglet looked at one another, and they both sat down, one on either side of Eeyore in his stick house. Eeyore looked at them in surprise and said, "What are you doing?" "We're sitting here with you," said Pooh, "because we're your friends. A true friend doesn't care if someone is feeling sad or alone or not much fun to be around at all. True friends are there for you anyway. And so, here we are." "Oh," said Eeyore, "oh." And the 3 of them sat there in silence while Pooh and Piglet said nothing at all. Somehow, almost imperceptibly, Eeyore started to feel a very tiny little bit better because Pooh and Piglet were there. No more, no less. Think about that. About the importance of listening to one another and listening to God. Sometimes I think we think that Why did God speak all the time in the Old Testament but doesn't speak now? Well, I think God does. I think we're too distracted with talking and phones and all the other stuff that's happening in our lives that we don't take time to be quiet and to listen. More about that later, but for now that's day 22, and I look forward for being with you tomorrow on day 23. You take care. Bye-bye.